Flex. Oh, we're live!
Hello, everybody.
Yay! So Merrill Chandler.
Welcome.
Yay! We had a little bit of travels. So this is the first time we've been back on, and it's December. Oh my gosh, it's December
It's been like a
2020.
month since we've been on.
I mean, the holiday and then travel and all sorts of crazy stuff. And so, one thing is now we're right before Christmas and the end of the year. Everybody's talking about what are we going to do as far as, the interest rates, are they going up again? Is inflation going out of control? And I can tell you, you probably look also at Black Knight. They're one of the organizations that gather data from the banking companies about foreclosures and short sales. And I say it in this kind of weird way because we just started seeing headlines, scary headlines. And I say scary because we're starting to see numbers of foreclosures and people basically have missed so many payments that we're starting to actually get compared to numbers, and I'll do my little air quotes, that are similar to 2009 numbers. So the fear of us going into a recession is real. So again, what do people need to know? Again, going into a new year and trying to figure out how do they get ready to buy a house, or as a real estate investor, what are like the 3 critical things they need to know as we're ending the year?
All right. First of all, you guys, I've been yelling at this from the housetops, but it's relationships. Your relationship with your lenders, whether it's a credit card lender, an auto lender, or in this case, your mortgage lender, has everything to do with your success and how to navigate the next few months or maybe even a couple of years. Right. You guys, our relationships, there are since COVID, there are entire departments that are devoted to mitigating foreclosure from the lender's side. They did not win. It was not a good experience for lenders in 2008 when they're like, yeah, let's just throw everybody out of their houses and collect all these properties. The properties went bad. They're sitting unused on the site. Entire subdivisions were becoming more and more dilapidated before they could get rid of the inventory. They do not want to go at whatever possible. They want to avoid it at all possible costs. So they have mitigation departments, foreclosure mitigation departments, to help navigate this. So if you're running a little light in your finances, you have got to get on the phone and you have got to start working with your lenders. They are not looking to boot you out right out of the gate like it was in 2008. Lesson learned. So now from the other end, looking at buying, remember, right now, the advertised prices for 30-year fixed mortgages is between 5.5-ish and 6%, depending on your credit score and the particular area you're living in. And I'm telling you guys, we're still under the 40-year average of the last 40 years. I'm redundant. We're still under the average interest rate. So we don't get to act spoiled just because it's not 2.5% or 2.99 again. If the money makes sense at the current interest rates, get into that property, whether it's a primary residence or whether it is an investment property, because you believe outside of interest rates that the market's going to improve in that particular area.
And let me interrupt you, because one of the other things that I'm hearing a lot is actually from lenders. And one of the parts of this I wanted you to address is that not all lenders are let's say equal. All lenders are not the same. They can't offer you. So if you get rejected from one lender, again, like you started off with relationship. This is the time that you want to have a relationship with the lenders, but you also need to know, hopefully, if you have a good enough relationship, they're going to tell you, and I've heard this from more than one lender, they're like, don't talk to us. We don't have any kind of really good products. We are going to rake you over the coals with extra points, with all sorts of things. It's going to be unfair because, our bank, particularly our lending institution, and I should say that as an institution because it's not just banks. There's all sorts of different lending institutions right now that are pulling in the credit they can give out. So they're, number one, giving it to their favorite people, but they're also just, if you're kind of just average, I should say, I've heard this from their lips, that they're not going to give you the greatest deal.
They're premium pricing for their credit products because they're not as liquid as they were this time last year. And what we mean by liquid is that they only get to lend a certain amount on the reserves that they have. And if they're using those reserves for operating expenses, if they're using those reserves to pay their shareholders to keep share prices higher and motivate people to stay, not fire sale. There's a lot of moving parts here. If they're losing that liquidity, then that means that they do not get to lend as much and they're going to hold back and only go for the highly profitable relationships that they've had in the past. So relationship building is vital on our part, but we are going into a little bit of scarcity when it comes to just the how ubiquitous, how easy it is to get money, because everybody's crunching, they're withdrawing a little bit, and it may get even worse.
And I was going to say, and this is where I would say the advice is also, from my viewpoint, is that you should talk to more than one lender. If you don't have just that amazing, rock solid, and you haven't, especially if you haven't been through this program where we really teach you how to have the best credit cards that are the highest tiers on the credit cards, you haven't created this relationship, now is a time where you're really going to have to learn all of these basic foundational things. It is critical. And I know we're both limited on time today, but can you tell them about your the course to make sure they know where to go?
So getfundablejennifer.com will take you to our business funding master course. And what this course teaches you, and this is a perfect time, right? It not just winter, but if we can't go out and operate with capital, then let's learn about how to acquire it. And what are the rules of this funding game? What are the rules that what can we do to prepare for funding in 3 months and 6 months when it starts loosening up again? Now's the time to do our studies. And the getfundablejennifer.com, that business funding master course literally gives you the inside scoop, the things that you learn here listening to us. They're all included in the coaching and the strategies that we go through, how to build the relationships, how to have the best kind, the credit cards. There are different tiers of credit cards and they all come with different reputations. And the better your reputation with other lenders, then your lender or the lenders you're looking at are going to look at your profile and go, they seem to know what they're doing. If you're brand new, they're going to choose you over somebody else. And right now, we have to have the edge. We have to have every possible opportunity to gain the edge over other borrowers if there is scarce lending resources.
Yeah. And I think it's so important that you have those basics in, because it's easy to not have them. And again, as we say, it's winter now. I mean, and we say that figuratively as well as it is December. But
winter is not coming. Winter is here.
Winter is here.
You GOT fans all know.
Exactly. It is definitely the time of dragons. And the financial institutions, you need to know how the game is played. And you're going to, I want to say it in a really, let's get real about it, is if you don't know the rules of the game in the banks and the financing, if you don't know these basic things about your credit score and how this is all used and what's a real score versus a fake score, if you don't know these basics, this is a time it's really going to be painful, very expensive for you. So
very expensive, very painful, and you're not going to get chosen. If they've only got 10 loans to give this month, you're not going to be one of them unless you know how to get to the front of the line.
The top of the pile, to the top of the pile, the front of the line. Merrill, it is such a pleasure. Thank you for making time today. Hopefully we'll make it next week.
Yes, we will be here next week. I'm actually not on the road for
Me either.
for literally maybe 2 full months, the rest of December and January so far. So I'm going to be able to be home and we can spend some time really educating your tribe and making sure that we can get in front of them with all the things necessary for you guys to not just survive, but thrive in the coming environment.
Exactly. Well, thank you again, Merrill. Thank you.
Absolutely.
You guys, we'll see you next week.